Hello.
Hi.
So today we are going to respond to some comments and questions about how safe is it living in the Philippines. You know how Dennis feels as he is a foreigner. Also our concerns. A few of them that we would like to answer.
Yeah, so a lot of questions about is it safe to live in the Philippines, and especially in Mindanao. I can only answer from my own experience and what I've seen and heard, but I feel safe here. I mean, I go out almost every morning and walk the roads around our neighborhood, and they're pretty isolated back in there. Sometimes I walk 5 miles back down the other way, and it's dirt road, and yeah, I feel safe. I mean, there's obviously anywhere you go, no matter what country you're in, you have to be aware of your surroundings, pay attention all the time. If you look vulnerable, there's you're going to run across somebody that might want to take advantage of you. But I haven't had any problems, any issues here, and people especially ask about Mindanao.
Yeah.
And we don't go to the southern part of Mindanao. Because most of the kidnappings and stuff like that's where that's happened at.
Right.
We live in central Mindanao, so we go to Davao, occasionally, and Tagum City we go there all the time.
Right.
But to go on drives or go to the beach or anything, we kind of go north. And so haven't had it, haven't had any problems. I mean, I probably had more problems when I lived in the U.S. than I've ever had here.
Yeah, of course, you still have to be very aware of your surroundings, and you can't just go. I mean, in the U.S., it seems like it's very nice to go out in the mountains, but in here, I'm kind of like afraid of going into the mountains because that's where usually all the NPAs, that's where they hide.
In the mountains here.
Yeah, I mean, if you go in there for a drive and a quick visit to the mountain, that's okay. But living in the mountain or like that,
you're kind of asking for trouble if you live.
yeah. But I've heard that there are actually some or a few foreigners that actually live in the mountain. I don't know how safe they feel. I'm sure some of them really, just wanna move into the mountain and just taking the risk.
Yeah, it's what I've heard about the NPA. They'll get in contact with you if you live anywhere too remotely. I don't know that firsthand, but that's what I've heard. We heard a statistic a couple of days ago about 49% less crime now than was before. And,
Right.
Actually Davao is one of the safest cities in the Philippines.
Yeah, I'm sure there are other cities too that are also safe to live, and also one of the reasons why we are here in this place is because we don't want to really be so far away from town, but we also don't want to be very close to town because we don't want the noise and so this is like few minutes to town when you drive. And it's also 30 minutes from my parents, and it's easier for them to come over, and easier for us to go over there, even though you have to go through the rough roads, but it's okay, it's easier for them. They always come here with the motorcycles and no problem, so it's just for us it's the right place for us.
Yeah, it's not that far from her parents, but to get here from here to there, you got to go through a bunch of dirt roads, and it takes 25, 30 minutes to get there. But so they're not too far away. The other thing about living outside, if you live in town, you get the traffic noise, people everywhere.
Yeah.
If you live out of town, you get dogs barking, roosters crowing, chainsaws. So it's it's trade-off. Unless you move in the mountains, then you got to deal with other things.
Right.
So we don't live in the province.
Yeah.
We live outside of town a couple of miles.
Yeah.
So we don't live.
It's not really province, but there's a lot of like trees around, of
Yeah,
course. But this is actually still considered like province, though, honey.
Well, I know, but I mean, there's a few houses around, but it's not too remote. It's not too far from town.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and there are also a lot of people that are asking like, how did you guys manage to, like you have a house, and oh, now you have a car, so you must be doing like, I mean,
We tried-
you should see about our house when we got here. There's no even tile floor in it. The roof was like,
Yeah, no screens on the windows. We had the jealousy type windows.
yeah,
that-
we have to deal with a bunch of mosquitoes,
Yeah.
flies.
We changed the windows since we moved here.
Yeah.
We put screens on, screen doors on.
Yeah.
There was no tile in the house. It wasn't painted on the inside.
Little by little, and it was also not even finished on the outside. Like it was just a hollow block.
It wasn't finished off on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It was just hollow block, and it didn't look very
Yeah.
appealing.
Yeah, we've come this far about having a house like this, but we were we did a lot of sacrifices on this house, and it's still not done. But
We'd like to have air conditioning in here. We'd like to have solar or at least a generator.
no, the main thing is really a bathroom, because we have our own bathroom, but the second
and the
one,
bed, off the bedroom.
right? Yeah,
But
we
the
need
bathroom for the rest of the house is
Just
out
a
on the back-
toilet.
Yeah, just a toilet out on the back patio.
Yeah.
And we want to build another bathroom there. So there's still, it's comfortable, but there's still things we want
Yeah.
to do here.
and
It's
also
taken a while.
Yeah, and also having a car, if we would have, like paying rent or mortgage, we would not buy that car.
Right.
So the advantage for us is we're not making house payment. So that's why we're getting a car, and we were talking about if we were gonna get a car, might as well get a reliable one, so when we go
It's going to
somewhere,
last forever.
yeah, that is gonna last for for a long time. Because if we buy a car now that is like just drivable enough, and then if
That
it's
breaks
gonna
down.
breaks down,
And where we're going to get the money to repair it.
yeah, we don't have the money to repair it. So
And it took us a
nowhere.
while to get a car. I mean, we've been here 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
We just got that car a few months ago.
Yeah, and also, this year was a very, very there was
Trying year. We had some bad things that occurred to us this year. My son died, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't, 5 months ago, and I couldn't even go to the U.S. And and
That was very
that
sad.
was very tough. And then we had the multi-cab. We had an accident, and
Mm-hmm.
two young men wound up in the hospital that we were very worried about. Thankfully they were all right.
yeah, there are so many happenings this year for us. When you see our life in our videos, like, well, yeah, it's all fun and like that, but we also show the good side, the bad side, just like you said earlier, honey, that we don't just show the rose colored.
Looking through rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, and that's
But yeah, there was a time this year that we were pretty down, especially after my son died and we had that accident. Spent all our savings, to the hospital for those young guys that wound up in the hospital, and we were just waiting, man, when's the other shoe gonna drop? I mean, we were pretty down, but that's the thing about
yeah, that's the most down was that when your son died. We may not always mention about it on the video, but there are days where it's
Yeah,
just
I'll
there's sad.
never get over it all the way.
Yeah.
It'll always be there, but try to go on and so. But we've had some good things too. We've had some good things here. I mean,
Yeah. Having the car, that's one of the good things, and
your family
you
close
got
by and get the. We've
Yeah.
taken our family places like when we took them to the beach. Her dad hadn't been to the beach in 20 years.
23 years actually, and it's the first time that we're able to do things like that. That was the first time that we get out as the whole family to the beach. We couldn't do that before because we were just trying to finish off the house, and we don't have the. And also there was a person who helped us make it happen, that we all went to the beach, pay for the gas and for the entrance of the resort. So we really appreciate it, and
We still like living in the U.S. and sometimes we do miss it there because all the convenient things. But
we miss the food.
But nowadays, I feel like it's just as dangerous there as it is here. I feel safe here. It just feels like home now. But and people have asked, well, should we make the move? We're retired. I'm not talking about guys that their wives are here or their fiancés are here, of course you're going to come over here.
Right.
I'm talking about people that are already married and have asked us, you know, should we relocate there? We're retired or getting ready to retire. And, you know, I would hate for somebody to come over here and hate it just on my say-so. But, you know, we're not sorry we made the move. And, you know, and it depends on your circumstances. If, you know,
Exactly.
if you're happy there, you're probably most likely going to be happy here. But if you're not happy there and come over here and think this is going to be your paradise and everything's going to turn out beautiful, you're probably not going to be happy here either.
Yeah,
I mean,
but one thing is for sure is that it takes a while for the adjustment.
It does.
Yeah, so you have to prepare for the adjustments. You know, all the system here, the culture here, the way the things go in here. In the US, you know, you may think like everything is quick and this and that. Here, it's like slow and
believe me,
slow.
the culture here takes some getting used to. You know, if you don't have a lot of patience or you're with people, you're probably not going to be very happy here. But, you know, there's some things you hear that you don't do that you could probably get away with somewhere else. But, and you know, the Filipino culture, they are very pleasant people, very, you know, very sweet, hospitable. But if you say something wrong to them, they don't forget it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's why I don't want to learn the language, because I'm afraid that I'll try to be talking to somebody and I'll say the wrong word or say it, you know, say something wrong.
And next thing you know, there's a machete.
Yeah,
You're
next thing you know,
chasing with
somebody's
the
coming after you with a
machete.
machete, because that's what happens. So that's why I decided not to try to speak the language. I don't want to butcher the language and then wind up getting butchered myself.
Yeah. But you know you have to be prepared for when you come in the Philippines. When you're in line, it's not very surprising if someone will actually go in front of you or they will crowd in front of you, because usually in the US you have to
It's
leave
very orderly. Everything's orderly.
You leave a gap in between you and the next person. But if you leave a gap, then they will just go in front of you because
Right.
there's a gap there.
Right.
I mean, not
Even
until this pandemic now that you really have to have distance. But you know,
Before
generally,
that, there was no order for nothing, man.
No.
I mean, even if you're in a store, in line at the grocery store waiting to check out, somebody will come up and walk right in front of you if you leave too big of a gap.
Yeah.
To check out first.
if you go to a bus terminal and then everybody's waiting for a bus, and then as soon as the bus get in there, everybody just pushing each other and just.
So that's
oh
the
my
big
God.
differences in culture. And they don't think nothing of it here.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody gets insulted by that happening to them, or they don't seem to be. I don't know. I don't understand it. That's one thing I still don't understand. But
Yeah, I know, because one time Dennis was saying like that's a very rude person just cut in front of me, and then after a few times that when he tried to ride in the bus, he tried to crowd with everybody else, and they don't have a reaction to it because it's just like a normal thing, I guess.
yeah, I mean, this is a prime example. When we still lived in the U.S., there was a Filipino restaurant down the street from us, and I used to go there to get her foods. And, you know, you lined up at the counter and you walked down the counter and you told them what you wanted. They put it in your dish. I would go there and get in line, and, you know, some Filipino lady would walk in and just start looking around and step right in front of me and order in front of me. And it happened every time. And it just fried me, man. And I'd go home and tell her about it, and now I understand. They do it here. So I guess they think they can do it anywhere. I don't know. I don't
Yeah, I
understand it.
explained to him that it's not really a big deal, like.
Well, it's not a big deal here, but to Westerners, it is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, where there's a country where there's order in what you do, it's just.
And guess what? After being in the US for a long time and then learning from, all that, you have to get in line, and I got used to accustomized to the way they are there. And when I came
No,
back
it even
to,
makes her mad.
Yeah, and when I came back into the Philippines, and then I did the same thing, like, distance away from the person in front of me, and then what the, people are just going in front of me because they didn't think that I was in line, because why I was leaving a big distance from,
Now
to
she
the
even
counter.
gets mad about it, and the drivers.
Yeah, but eventually I slowly able to adjust to it again, and realizing that I'm in the Philippines now, and this is the way they are.
Well,
So
I don't adjust to it, so that's why I try not to get in line anywhere. I let her go to the store. I
Yeah.
let her drive. So
Yeah.
it's-
So,
I still-
because,
but I'm trying to get used.
yeah, you're very impatient about the driving. Can you imagine when sometimes I'm driving and then he's there? He's the one who honked the horn, and he's not even the one who's driving. And I go, just leave it alone. That's the way they drive here. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's for that. And
That's-
also there are what?
That's why I don't get behind the wheel anymore.
Yeah, and okay, so another question that asked is that there's so many that said, like, do you guys also have arguments or disagreements? And because you seem to just all be like, oh, happy and having a good time, laughing and like that. Of course, we have some minor disagreements, little arguments here and there. We argue, just like last night. We argued for a while just because of the lemon. We argued because why you said you call it wrong, because the lemon here, the green lemon, he said that it's lime.
They call limes, the little green limes here, they call lemons, and refuse to call it anything but lemons. The lemons here, I asked her, what do you call lemons here? Well, we call them lemons.
Yeah.
Well, except if they're green and we call them oranges.
I was mistaken it, honey. I was mistaken. I didn't say like orange. I just said that when it turns yellow, the word orange last night when I said that, it was a mistake. That I mistaken the word of using. I meant that when it's yellow, we call it still a lemon. So everything we call it lemon. Just like in the market, you hear those ladies saying like, "Mom, lemon here," like that. Did you hear her saying that? I'm just saying that we call it lemons, even though the Westerners probably call it limes.
Yeah.
We call it lemon here. That's how we call it.
Yeah.
But you keep
That
saying to
doesn't
me that
make
it's
it a lemon
wrong.
now. It's still a lime.
I know, but it's lemon though.
Okay.
Okay, that's enough of
pass
that.
over that one.
So what else we were gonna answer that?
About and a lot of people ask, do you guys have foreigner friends? I mean, she is my best friend, so that's who I spend time with.
And you're my
Yeah.
best friend. Eh?
Well, that's good. So that's who I spend time with. I was never one to really hang out with the boys or all that, and so yeah, we're doing what we want to do. And
I have some friends that I know of, and it's not like we just like hang out all the time or something like that. We just say hi, hello, how are you doing? And my family are also my friends.
Yeah.
Like if I want somebody to talk to, like my sisters there, my mom, my family, they are. And also Dennis is here. I love talking to him. Because he don't talk really that much, and so that gives me really a lot of time to talk a lot.
yeah, maybe that's why I don't talk as much, because you talk all the time. Maybe
No,
that's it.
because that's why I talk too much and a lot, because you don't talk so much.
Anyway, it kind of works out.
Yeah, it works out the way it is. But so anyway, life here in the Philippines, nothing is perfect.
Some people go through life and they have a picture of how their life's going to wind up. They're like a
Paradise.
big beautiful statue, and they're waiting for some hunk of clay to fall out of the sky to complete that statue. And that hunk of clay, whether it's someplace to live or meeting somebody else, they're waiting for somebody to complete that. And I realized, you're the one responsible. You're the sculptor of that statue.
Yeah, that's why they say like happiness is a choice, and wherever you're gonna be, no matter what your situation is, like you have to make the best out of what you have. And to be contented is very important.
I mean, everybody wants to improve their life.
Right.
No matter what your situation, just like us, we want to improve this house, we want to improve our life. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what drives most people in the world.
Yeah,
Although a lot of people in the world don't have that option.
But not to the point where you really have to like destroying your relationship just because you want that, like, oh, you want to have more than
Right.
What you really need.
To the point that it makes you unhappy that you don't have that. So in other words, if you understand it or agree with that concept, it'll work no matter where you live. Of course, you got to have the right spouse next to you, but
Am I the right spouse?
yeah, you're my hunk of clay, baby. I fell out of the sky.
You're the right husband too for me, honey. Well, anyway, I guess that's all we can answer to those because we also thought that that's very important questions. The people that are curious about that topic. So there it was. If there's anything else, we'll just also answer that later, and maybe on the next videos. But for now, we already said what we can.
So
And
dad is dad.
yeah. I told Dennis that making videos here is not really that hard. I mean, the hardest part is uploading because of our internet here is very slow.
Right.
But making the videos here is very easy for us because we're trying to make the reality of the life here in the Philippines, like nothing more, nothing less. What you see is what you get.
Just the reality of everyday life here.
Yeah, our relationship, family, and what we're doing every day.
It's not 24-hour excitement, but sometimes it is, and
Yeah.
and sometimes it's boring.
Yeah, but we're just showing like how our life in here in the Philippines.
But yeah, so I feel relatively safe here. We go a lot of different places, and some places we definitely don't go. Just like in the U.S., there was places we definitely wouldn't go.
Right.
So that's not a big deciding factor on moving here. And we live in Mindanao, which there's a lot of old rumors about Mindanao that it's not safe. But
Yeah. Pretty safe to where we live. Hopefully, it answered your questions well, and
I'm sure we'll hear about it if it didn't.
thank you so much for watching
Thanks
this
for watching.
video, and thank you for all your good, nice comments, and thank you for supporting our channel. We really appreciate it, and also thank you so much for not skipping the ads. It makes a big difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.